Independent travel with type 1 diabetes. Travelling with diabetes means there are a few things to think about before you set off, but this shouldn't be a barrier to travelling and seeing the world. Before you leave, it is important to inform your diabetes team. They will be able to provide you with a letter which explains the medication you use and all of the equipment that you need to treat your diabetes. If you're wearing a sensor or an insulin pump, it will also explain what these devices are. This will also explain the need to carry all medication and equipment with you in your hand luggage to avoid storing this in the hold. To make sure that you do not face any additional issues when travelling with your supplies, it's a good idea to contact the airline before you travel to discuss medical devices you may need to take on board an aircraft. Take twice the quantity of medical supplies you would normally use for your diabetes. This is in case any luggage goes missing or you end up staying for longer than you originally planned. Before travelling, it is a good idea to find out where you can get supplies of insulin at your destination in case of an emergency. Contact your insulin manufacturer before the trip to see if your insulin is supplied in the country you're travelling to. If you may need a prescription whilst away and your usual medication isn't available, be aware you may be given an alternative insulin. It's also a good idea to anticipate the travel days when you take transport and make sure that you're well prepared with snacks and hypo treatment should you need these. Managing medication when crossing time zones. Journeys across time zones may mean that you need to adjust your insulin. Many people now have a flexible insulin regime, meaning a combination of long-acting insulin and short-acting insulin used with carbohydrate counting. This can easily be adapted to travel time zones. International flights eastward or westward involve crossing time zones, which may mean travel days are shorter or longer. This may involve amending the time that you usually give your long-acting insulin if you're taking injections. But don't worry, remember that running a bit high for 24 hours is unlikely to cause any long-term harm. Storing insulin. If you're traveling somewhere hot, remember that heat can damage your insulin and stop it from working properly. When traveling with insulin, it is best to keep it cool by storing it in a fridge or a cool bag. A variety of cool bags and storage containers may be available. If using a cool bag that uses plastic ice blocks, make sure that the insulin does not come into contact with the frozen plastic containers. Insulin can freeze in extreme temperatures but cannot be used after it's been frozen. Get travel insurance. If you have diabetes, travel insurance is important. Buy travel insurance that covers your healthcare fully, so any issues that you may face whilst away are covered and you don't end up with an expensive medical bill. Eating abroad. Eating new foods and drinks is often a large part of exploring new countries and cultures, although this may present a challenge when living with type 1 diabetes. If you are carbohydrate counting and need to know the carbohydrate content of the food that you eat, it may be helpful to have an idea of the local cuisines and common foods eaten. Several different books and apps may be helpful. Speak with your diabetes team if you'd like specific recommendations on resources which may be helpful. It may also be helpful to learn a few key phrases relating to eating and diabetes. This may help to explain what your needs are in a country where English is not the first language.